Number 11 is a proration question. It's just a matter of how hard do we want to make you work. So a parcel of land has an assessed value of $150 for the improvements, $40,000 for the land. The tax rate for the area is 67 cents per $100 of value for the city, 58 cents for the county. If the owner sells the property on May 23rd, how would the tax proration appear on the settlement statement? The only thing complicated about this question, and by the way, it's somewhat complicated, is that there are multiple steps. So what I'm looking to start with is, I would like to know what my taxes for the year are. Do we have enough information to determine what our annual taxes are?
Yes.
We have the assessed value. The assessed value is going to be the 150 plus 40, right? Land and improvements are taxed at the same rate. So I'm going to go ahead and stipulate $190,000 for your assessed value. Is everybody okay with where I got 190?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to add my city and county taxes together. 67 cent and 58 cent. Looks like it's going to be $1.25. So remember the formula in North Carolina. 190 divided by 100. Y assessed value divided by 100 times the tax rate of, I think I said 125. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, somebody tell me what that number is.
2375.
2375? 2,375. That sounds right. Do I hear a second on that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I think that's right, yeah. Okay, now that tells us what our annual taxes are. So you have solved the first part of the problem. However, what this is asking you is, we have a closing that's getting ready to take place on May 23rd. Notice that May 23rd is given. I want you to also notice this as well. A little test secret. Notice if it's closing before May 23rd, we don't even tell you whether the taxes have been paid or not. Why do we not tell you whether the taxes have been paid or not on May 23rd?
Because they haven't been paid. It's before September 1st.
They clearly have not been paid because a tax bill has not even gone out. It's not even going to go out until after July, and it's not due until September 1st, right? Mm-hmm. So these taxes could not have been paid. Do you remember that we prorate taxes on a calendar year basis? And what the calendar year means is from January 1st through December 30th, because these are going to be a banker year proration, 360-day year. Okay? So the seller hasn't paid anything. Do you think it would make it fair if at the closing table the seller simply said, hey buyer, here's the money that I have, that I'm responsible for the taxes for the first number of days of the year. So then the question just simply becomes how many days. Listen guys, if you are strong at math, be careful here. This is a place right here that sometimes strong math students mess up. To determine how many days the seller has owned the property, it's actually 4 months plus 23 days. A lot of people make the mistake of multiplying it by 5. It's not. It's 4 months plus 23 days. There was January, February, March, April, and 23 days. And since we're using a banker's year, 30 days per month times 4 equals 120 plus 23 days in May. So how many days is the seller responsible for?
143.
143 days. And how are we going to determine how much he's responsible for per day?
Divide by 360.
Yeah, we knew that the taxes for the year are $23.75. So if we just divide it by 360, the number of days in a banker year,
6.6.
how much?
6.6.
6.6. Is it a repeating 6?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 143 times whatever that number came out to be, 6.6 whatever, is how much?
943.40.
943. And yep, 943.40. And then finally, the last thing that you need to figure on this one is, what are we going to do with the money? We're going to take it from whom?
Seller.
And what do we call it when we take it from somebody at the closing table? A debit, seller debit. And then we're going to give it to the buyer. We call that a buyer.
Buyer credit.
And how much are we going to give to the buyer?
943.40.
The exact same amount we take from the seller is what we give to the buyer. Now listen, I know that doesn't solve the taxes for the year. Having said that, when the buyer pays it on September 1st, he will pay the whole year, knowing that the seller gave him the part up till May 23rd. There, you have to know this for the exam. if not for a standalone question, then certainly for a mini, M-I-N-I, mini closing statement. Okay?